What's good, everybody? It's John. I'll come back at you on another video. So with this video, I'm going to explain to you guys why life is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the reason why it's a self-fulfilling prophecy is because you are a creator and you are effectively creating your life one step at a time, day by day, week by week, right? You are creating it. And so this is why life is a self-fulfilling prophecy, because the ideas that you have, the beliefs that you have, is what will eventually appear in the physical world, and it is what will eventually manifest. So if you don't believe me, hang tight, right? I'll give you guys a simple example to explain this concept for you guys. So let's just say you're in college, right? And you're taking a class and the professor assigns you a 10-page paper, and he gives you 3 weeks, right, from the moment it's assigned, right, 3 weeks until the deadline to complete a 10-page paper. Now, let's just say in this example, let's say there's two people, there's person A and person B, right? Person A, the moment the 10-page paper has been assigned, person A doesn't believe that they're capable of writing a 10-page paper because they've never had to do anything remotely close to that, and they just don't think they're capable. They just don't think they're good enough, right? They don't think it's possible. So after the paper's been assigned, right, person A, because they don't think it's possible, it leads them to procrastinate, right? Like, they will go on and eat dinner, they'll hang out with their friends, they'll, party on the weekend, whatever it is. And the entire time, right, for these next couple weeks, the paper, 10-page paper that's due in 3 weeks, right, it lingers in the back of their mind. And so the entire time they're worried, they're anxious, they're procrastinating, and they wait until the day before, right, the last day, is when they decide to get started, right? Because they figure that it's probably better to turn in something than nothing. And, who knows whether they get the paper done or whether they get submitted, or you guys get the idea, right? That's person A. Person B, this person immediately after the 10-page paper has been assigned to them, they tell themselves that it's possible. They believe deep down that they can do it, even if it's something that they've never done before, right? They're eager to take on the challenge, right? They're excited and they're looking forward to it. So then right after that class ends, they rush back to their dorm and they end up taking out a piece of paper or their computer, and they just start brainstorming. They start spitballing ideas. Anything that comes to mind for what they can include in the paper, they decide to put it down on paper, and they begin looking at it and breaking down what appeared to have been, almost like a Mount Everest type of assignment, right? A 10-page paper, something super massive. They look at it and say, it's not that bad, because 10 pages, that can be 10 really big ideas. So I just need to get the big ideas, and then for each idea, I can write down further bullet points, right? So this person begins organizing it, and then from then on, this person is able to tackle the assignment, right? And so for the next 3 weeks, they continue making incremental progress until they finally arrive at their goal of completing the paper and submitting it on time. Now, there's nothing that separates person A from person B. Only thing that separated them is their belief, right? Because if you believe that you can't do something, if you believe that you're not good enough, in a lot of cases, one, you might not even try to begin with. Why? Because you believe that you can't do it, so it won't be worth your time, right? It's no point in trying, right? And two, if you don't think that you're good enough, you are going to feel worried. You are going to feel anxious. The assignment is going to appear to be way too big for you to even complete. And so the entire 3 weeks you spent time procrastinating. When you're worried, right? Like, these are negative emotions. When you're procrastinating, that's negative emotion, because you're feeling the emotion, you're feeling worry and you're feeling anxious. These are negative emotions. So for the entire duration of 3 weeks, you're vibrating negative emotion. Whereas the other person, person B, who felt confident that they can do it, the entire time they're feeling positive energy. They feel good. They're fixated on getting it done, and they're putting down ideas on paper and working towards it, right? So person B, they were able to use that 3 weeks worth of time to actually work towards the project to get it done, right? So you're seeing how that example was just a simple example to explain the concept, the idea that life is a self-fulfilling prophecy, because it's not the facts that create the belief, it's the belief that creates the fact, right? If person A believed that they were not good enough, that they can't write a 10-page paper because they've never done that before and they've never done anything remotely close and they don't even know where to begin, they believe they can't do it, then they're not going to do it. It's not going to get done. And if it does get done, it's probably going to be, you know, one of their worst assignments, right? One of their worst submissions, because it was done last minute. It was crammed, right? Person B believed that they were capable of doing something. They believed that they were capable of writing the paper, that it may have been a tall task, but it's not an impossible task, and that it could be done. And so because of it, they decided to dive in and they used the time, those 3 weeks, to be productive. And it ended up being an enjoyable experience, right? They were vibrating positive energy because they knew it was possible to be done, even if it seemed like a big assignment, that they were capable of doing it. And because of their belief that they can do it, what ended up happening? They ended up doing exceptionally well, putting together the assignment and submitting it, right? So this is what I mean. It's not the facts that create the belief, it's the belief that creates the fact, because it's what a person believes that ultimately dictates the emotion that they feel and the action that they take. And that's the case with all of your thoughts. This is why it's important for you to not only pay attention to what you're thinking, but also be, you want to be, what's the word for it? Intentional. Yes, that's the word. You want to be intentional with your thoughts, because you want to think the right thoughts that are going to help push you forward, right? A lot of people, they think whatever thought, just like most people don't manage their thoughts or don't pay attention to what they're thinking. And so because of that, they're not paying attention to, they're typically not paying attention to how they're feeling, but they're all correlated, right? The thoughts you think determine how you feel, which determine the actions that you take or the inaction that you take, right? If you believe you were given that assignment, if you were person A, you were given a 10-page paper, you believe that you're not good enough. So you begin feeling negative emotions, which was worry and procrastination, and that, worry and feeling anxious because you were procrastinating. And that led to the inaction, which is procrastination, right? Person B, they felt that they were good enough, that they were capable. So they felt positive emotion. So if they're feeling good, right, then they're open to taking action, right? So it's always going to be a chain reaction between all three. So there's a famous quote that goes, whether someone can or whether something can't, either way, they're both right, right? Whether he can or he can't, either way, he's both right. It's the idea that it's not the fact that creates the belief, it's the belief that creates the fact. If you decide you can do something, then guess what? You're going to have so much belief in yourself that that's what's going to propel you forward, that's what's going to make you persist, even during times where it can appear to be difficult, or where it might feel like you're struggling, or it might feel like you're not being rewarded fast enough, right? You're still going to push through those moments because it's your belief that's what's going to propel you forward to create the fact that you've already believed to be true. If someone doesn't believe in themselves, if someone doesn't think that they're good enough, they're just not even going to try to begin with. And if they do try, they're probably not going to put their best foot forward, because why bother, right? If you believe you're not good enough and that you're not going to win, right, you're not going to put your best foot forward, because there's no reason to if you've already accepted defeat, right? So you need to understand this and remember this, right? That life is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So a lot of times, if you're not somewhere you want to be in life, right, or your life isn't where you want it to be, then sometimes it requires a change in thought. It requires you thinking different thoughts, having new ideas so that you can create new beliefs, right? You want things to be working in your favor because you want to be your number one supporter. You want to be your own cheerleader, right? Because you're going to have yourself for the rest of your life, right? So there's a lot of people out there that unknowingly sabotage themselves, and it's because they just have forgotten their ways and they just haven't been reminded in quite some time. But that's why I do these videos, because I want to remind you of your true power and what you're actually capable of, and to let you guys know that you can in fact create great things because you are great, because you are powerful, right? You have that power within you, right? And I can use myself as an example, right? For the longest time, I wanted to create content, I wanted to do YouTube, but I just felt like I wasn't ready, right? Because a lot of times people want to wait until they feel entirely ready to get started, not knowing that like it's normal for you to not be ready, and it's normal for you to learn on the fly so that you can eventually gain the experience to feel ready, right? And it's hard to gain experience if you don't ever do anything, right? So a lot of times in most things, pretty much everything, you're probably never going to feel ready when you do it. But that's the point in life, so that you can continue growing and becoming better, right? And with myself, for the longest, I felt that like I wasn't ready. I felt that maybe I just wasn't good enough, that maybe people won't ever care about the message that I wanted to share. But then I realized that that was all silly, because people will, because people want to hear uplifting messages, that people want to, become the best version of themselves, that people want to win in this life, and want to be happy and want to make the most out of life. So once I realized that there's other people out there who are wildly successful as far as, you know, finances and living life blissfully happy, and they're no smarter than me, and they're doing the things that they enjoy, that's when I realized that I can also do the same, that I'm also good enough, that I have access to the same power that everyone else has access to, right? This God power, this divine power that exists within us. Then I realized that I was good enough, and that I could do it, and it does come easy and effortlessly to me, right? So this is what I mean. We are all good enough. We can be, do, or have anything in this lifetime. It's just a matter of you believing that you can, believing that you have access to it, that you are capable, and your belief is what's going to propel you forward until you get there, right? Think, whenever you doubt yourself, think of the example that I just gave you with the 10-page paper, right? Someone that believes, person A believes they can't do it, therefore they end up either not doing it at all, or submitting whatever crammed, nonsense that they were able to put together to get a couple points. Whereas person B, they decided to use that time effectively and make it happen. So it's the person's belief that's what created the fact. Believing that you can do something is ultimately the power that's going to make it happen. It's the power that's going to make that belief into a fact, right? Everyone seems crazy when they have a belief but with no evidence, right? Because then people will label you crazy. But it's only until that belief becomes fact and it manifests in the physical world, that's when other people will label you a genius, because you thought of something that no one else had seen in advance, right? And that's how it all works. So just remember, once again, that life is a self-fulfilling prophecy, because it ends up in unfolding in the way that you believe it will in life. And if things haven't been unfolding in the direction that you wanted to, then a lot of times it's because you have to change your thoughts so that you can begin changing your beliefs. Begin believing that you are capable. Begin believing that you are good enough. Begin believing that you are going to win, and that you have won, and that it's already been determined that you're going to win. Because then when you move forward, right, you're essentially guaranteed, you're guaranteeing yourself that the fact will be created that you will win, right? And it's your belief that will allow you to persist, because if you didn't believe, you wouldn't persist, right? So just remember, once again, that life is a self-fulfilling prophecy, because whether you can or you can't, either way, you're both right. So that rest of the video. Enjoy the video. Do leave a like and subscribe as we're on the road to 1 million subscriber, guys. So once again, it's Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.